I endeavor every day to make this game more simple, to guide you to keep it simple, for myself, for students, for people I play with. There's one thing that has been made so obvious and something that the golf industry is kind of overlooked a lot, and that is the benefits of combo length irons. One length irons have been around a little while, and Bryson DeChambeau and some other players have been sort of making them popular. But there are some big downsides to one length. The combo length irons that I have here from Avoda are actually transformative for myself. And multiple times I've said I've wanted these 20 odd years ago because they make the swing so much simpler and easier to execute. What I have here is one of my old sets actually. This is a pitching wedge. That's where I'm taking my setup there. Feels pretty low down. I feel kind of hunkered down. This is the 7-iron. I now have to completely change my setup, move further back to give myself the distance that I need to be from the ball. This is a very different setup, and not just that, it's going to affect the swing to be very different, and the feel is very different. The intentions are different just because the length, the lie is making me set up differently to what the pitching wedge was. But there is an easier way. What I have here are the Avoda pitching and 8-iron, right? So there's my pitching wedge. I set up to it, keeping it flush. That's where I am, okay? That's a pitching wedge. If I don't move, my 8-iron is exactly the same. If I go back to pitching wedge here, and if I was trying to hit it there, see how far away I am? I have to move down, I have to move closer, my balance is completely off. So many things change just because I've changed clubs. It's ridiculous, especially when there are a fantastic solution. And it isn't just about getting the length of shaft the same, it's about ensuring that the weight of the club is balanced. So every club you hit is going to have a good gapping distance, even though it's the same length. They tweak the smash factors, the weight, the launch angles, the spin rates, so there is very equal gapping. So even though it feels the same when you set up to it, even though it feels the same throughout your swing, the ball will go a very predictable distance. That alone transforms your consistency and confidence. And it has for me and many others that have been using these Avoda irons. It just makes the game that much easier. Combo length doesn't only just help your setup and swing be more consistent, it helps your confidence. If you're always shuffling around, especially if you find yourself shuffling around, trying to get comfortable, because you're trying to find that radius, you're trying to find your balance. And if it's always changing, it's going to be more difficult, right? And that's what happens when you have variable length irons that are often different lengths, different lie angles, and even different weight. So it really gets rid of the setup shuffle. So when you choose your target, when you put your club down, you're always fidgeting. Combo length help that dramatically, because from lob wedge all the way through to 8-iron, they are the same length. So I can stick the same consistent setup that I practice frequently. So with that theory, does that mean that one length, having all your irons the same length, is going to help you be more consistent? Yes and no. But that's why combo length is even better than one length, because it's going to give you better control with the shorter clubs, the shorter distances, but it's going to give you that incremental increase for the longer irons. Because if your 5-iron, let's say, or your 4-iron is the same as your 8-iron or 7-iron length, you're going to struggle to get the height that you want on shots. You're going to struggle to get the distances because it just feels a little bit too short. I've laid them out just to illustrate the fact. We have lob wedge, sand wedge, gap wedge, pitching wedge, 9-iron, 8-iron. All of these the same length, the same swing, the same feel, just with perfect gapping. So this really simplifies anything from, whatever it might be, 150 yards and in for you, 160, 170, anything from in, the scoring clubs, you're going to be way more consistent. Now, with the very slight increase of length by the time we get to 7, 7, 6, 5, 4, with that extra bit of length. And the way they've balanced the irons, the heads are easier to get height, the length is easier to get height, but it's a very small incremental increase of length. So the adjustment feels very minor, especially compared to regular irons. What if you haven't got these yet? You can still take some of this awareness and knowledge and apply it to your own game. You saw me earlier like fidgeting around, trying to find my setup and balance. What you should try and do is find a setup as far as like your angles here, your balance. You want it to feel as close to being the same as possible with every single club. The least amount of differential that you can make between each club, whether it's ball position, which we haven't even talked about, that the Avoda irons really simplify that, because you don't have to move it a different position at all. Don't bother moving your ball position with your irons, and just find one consistent setup that you can pretty much repeat. Finding that stability, understanding that the more time you spend working on a reliable setup, much less manipulation has to happen in the rest of the swing. And even less when you're not down here sometimes, or when you're not here sometimes, or when the ball's too far back or too far forward. Let's reduce the variables as much as possible. And you can do that with every club. It's just a good principle to have. Now, the final thing, tempo. You hear about it all the time. It's very crucial for consistency, and knowing what your ideal tempo is going to be dependent on your setup, but also the weight of the club, the swing weight, and having them balanced and correct for you, for your specific anatomy, the force that you put into the club is going to make life so much easier for you. No matter what club you have, try and maintain the same speed, the same velocity, the same intention, whether it's with an 8-iron, whether it's with a 4-iron, whether it's with a sand iron. No matter what club you have, let's just try and make some nice swings that stay balanced and get you to where you want to be. Good shots happen with less effort, less manipulation. Remember that. Learn more about Avoda and how they've changed the golf industry and how they can transform your golf game to be so consistent when you get the clubs fitted for you that make it so much easier. You can learn more about their online fitting or other locations in the link below, but I urge you to go and give these a try. I promise you, your consistency will skyrocket, your enjoyment will improve, and your scores will lower. It's happened to me, it's happened to many students, and it's happened to thousands of golfers across the world. Learn more below.